In the summer of 1911, the small riverside town of Hallowell, Maine, stirred to life with an ordinary morning routine until the arrival of the 8:30 train brought something extraordinary. A man stepped down from the carriage, a tall, lean figure in a weathered Union Army coat, his boots cracked, his belt faded, and his cap carrying the faint scent of gunpowder. His face was young, perhaps 25, yet his eyes carried an unfathomable distance. When the station master approached him and asked where he had come from, the man replied softly, "Home. I've come home. The war is over." The war he spoke of course, was the Civil War, which had ended nearly half a century earlier. The stranger introduced himself as Private Jonathan E. Martin of the 20th Maine Volunteer Infantry Regiment, the same unit commanded by the famous Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain at Gettysburg. He told anyone who would listen that he had fought in that battle on July 3, 1863, when a Confederate shell exploded near his position. He remembered a blinding flash of light, then darkness. When he regained consciousness, he was lying in the woods outside Hallowell, Maine, his hometown. The only problem was that everything had changed. The houses were unfamiliar, the people were strangers, and even the air carried the sound of machines he could not name. When he picked up a newspaper and read the date, July 15, 1911, his hands trembled. He had been gone for 48 years. At first, the townspeople thought he was a lunatic or perhaps an actor playing a cruel joke. But when the local newspaper editor, Charles D. Whitaker, began digging through state archives, the truth, or something close to it, emerged. There had indeed been a Private Jonathan E. Martin who enlisted in May 1862, fought bravely at Fredericksburg, Antietam, and Gettysburg, and was declared killed in action on July 3, 1863. The War Department's records even contained a condolence letter signed by Chamberlain himself to Martin's family. But now, in 1911, the same man, unchanged by time, stood alive in front of them. Physicians examined him. Dr. William Brooks noted that Jonathan's pulse, reflexes, and physique were that of a healthy young man in his 20s. His skin bore no wrinkles, his hair no gray. He spoke with a dialect of a 19th century Mainer, unaware of automobiles, electricity, or even the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. "Assassinated?" he asked, stunned. "When? The president was alive the last I heard." Dr. Brooks recorded his findings in disbelief, writing, "Either this man has survived without aging beyond all medical possibility, or he has somehow crossed time itself." Jonathan's account never changed. He described the chaos at Gettysburg, the thunder of cannon fire, the sharp whistle of shells. He remembered an explosion, then a cold white fog that swallowed everything. It wasn't death. It was as if the world paused and I was walking through a dream. He wandered through mist and pine trees until he reached the Kennebec River, and from there followed it to Hallowell, Maine. His belongings were examined: a rusted canteen, a bullet mold, 3 silver coins dated 1863, and a small Bible inscribed with his name. Everything was authentic. When federal investigators and representatives from the Smithsonian arrived, they confirmed what the town already knew. The uniform fabric matched Civil War-era textiles, and the bullet ball in his belt pouch was genuine Union issue. Even his fingerprints matched an enlistment card preserved in the state archives, an impossibility that no one could explain. Reporters flooded Hallowell. Headlines screamed, "Civil War soldier returns from the dead," and "Union ghost walks among us." Crowds gathered daily just to glimpse him. Some claimed he was an angel, others whispered he was a lost spirit searching for peace. Through it all, Jonathan remained quiet, bewildered, and profoundly lonely. "The world I fought for is gone. I wanted to come home, but home is a stranger to me."
He visited his old house on Winthrop Street, only to find another family living there. His parents were long dead, his brothers buried decades ago. When he finally visited the cemetery, he found his own name carved in stone. PVT Jonathan E. Martin, 1841 to 1863. The sight broke him. "Then who," he murmured, "lies beneath my name?" He sat beside the grave for an hour in silence, as if waiting for the earth to answer. By autumn, government agents quietly escorted Jonathan to Washington, D.C. for further observation. He was placed in a secure military facility near Fort Myer. Doctors drew blood, measured his cells, and tested every organ. His biology was ordinary, except for one fact: his blood cells showed no signs of aging or decay. In March 1912, the War Department classified his case. To the public, they claimed Private Martin had been taken to a veterans hospital for treatment. He was never seen again. Decades later, in 1977, a declassified file surfaced from the War Department archives. Labeled Case Number 0147-T, it contained a brief, chilling entry. Subject: Private Jonathan E. Martin. Health remains stable. Aging process halted. Exhibits no recollection of missing years. On April 9, 1912, subject vanished from secure quarters during an electrical storm. Room locked from inside. Only evidence: faint smell of ozone and scorched flooring. The file ended abruptly, and no further records of Martin were ever found. In the years since, theories have multiplied. Some physicists believe Martin stumbled into a natural rift in time-space, a rare temporal fold triggered by intense magnetic or gravitational fields on the battlefield. Others propose he experienced a near-death suspension, his body preserved in some unknown biological stasis until conditions allowed his reappearance. A few conspiracy theorists insist he was part of an early government experiment in time manipulation, though no such program existed in the 1860s. Still others, historians, priests, and poets alike, believe he was a wandering soul allowed to return for reasons beyond human understanding. In 1999, during renovations at the Hallowell Historical Museum, curators discovered a sealed wooden crate labeled Uncatalogued 1912. Inside lay a small Bible identical to the one Jonathan had carried. The first page bore his old handwriting: "To my mother, if ever I return, Jonathan, July 2nd, 1863. Beneath it, written in the same hand but with fresher ink, was a final line: "I have returned. The fog calls again. J.M., April 8th, 1912. Today, the story of Private Jonathan E. Martin remains one of the strangest unsolved mysteries in American history. Half legend, half documented fact. Some call him a time traveler, others a ghost, but all agree that his case stands beyond rational explanation. And on misty mornings near the Kennebec River, a few residents still claim to hear the faint sound of marching boots and a quiet voice whispering through the fog, "Hold the line, the war's not over yet."